What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fanatically Speaking. I'm Kent.
I'm Log Off. I'm the Log Off legend. And we're here to say everything that every fan is thinking, but louder and probably a little crazier. Get ready. This is Fanatically Speaking with Kent and Log Off. You know what's funny? Like, I'm not a social media hater. I'm a social media hater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people to think that I get on the internet and start hating people on social media. That's not what I do.
The first half was absolutely horrible. You know, just inept offense, inept defense, special teams, you name it.
I'm going to turn into Oprah. Why were you so angry?
He sucks this season. This game, whatever's going on, right? And the very next pitch, guess what they do? They double homer, and he's like, "Told you, Dad. Why are you always knocking down people?"
You got the highs and the lows.
Yeah, so I do that.
You need the highs and the lows, and
so I do that. Yeah, but
I'm trying to be the voice of reason here.
I am what I am. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fanatically Speaking. I'm Kent, co-host and promoter.
I am Log Off, the Log Off legend, hater of social media. I'm the co-host and producer of the show.
A special episode, going to tackle sports gambling.
We're going to kind of do this in two parts. We're going to go over just kind of, what sports gambling used to be, what sports gambling has turned into. And then we're going to kind of go over some of the history of gambling in sports, and it covers everything, professional sports and everything all together. If you want to lead us off, or I can take it, what you want to do?
Go for it.
As anyone who's not 14 years old, 14-year-olds probably think that gambling is just something that's always been here. All I remembered growing up was wanting to make enough money to where I could travel to Las Vegas to gamble, right? It was the only place that you could go and kind of have free reign in terms of gambling. Of course, there's other, card games and all that stuff. But for me, it was the sports books.
Yeah. Going
to Caesar's Palace, going to MGM Grand, and seeing, I don't know if you've ever seen it, it's beautiful. Just all the screens, all the TVs, all the betting lines. It is this symphony of sports gambling that just kind of had a draw to me. I've never been a big gambler. I think I placed 3 sports bets my entire life, right? But I was always fascinated just with what gambling was. We know why people are attracted to it. People are super passionate, like as fans as we are. And of course, over time, and there's other places you could gamble. Obviously, Vegas, casinos all over the place. Atlantic City was a big one. But now you can gamble directly from your phone. Chances are, whatever device that you're listening to this on right now, you can gamble on. Of course, there's FanDuel, there's DraftKings, there's MGM, ESPN Bet, Fox Sports Bet. The evolution of this has been interesting because gambling was always something that sports wanted to stay away from because it had the opportunities for corruption. Not anymore. Now, all of a sudden, they just want to have this influx of cash from gambling because, the house always wins. It's a bit of a turnoff, for me to see all the gambling ads everywhere all the time. And that's just for me personally. It's like it's a little too much. You could bet anything, anywhere, all the time. Have you ever placed a sports bet? Are you one of those guys?
Okay, so I've actually been betting for a long time.
Really?
Well, not a lot. But I just want to go into like you said, the evolution of it.
Hold on, wait. A fanatically speaking revelation. I've never heard that from you. I never knew you were a betting guy.
Yeah, and it's a different type of betting, right? So, first off, recently, like for fun, I think I placed some bets on some UFC fights.
Okay.
And I'm the bettor who I want to make the most money.
So I think that's most bettors.
But I'm saying,
that's most gamblers.
But it's the gamble of, and I'm not a big gambler, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to throw 5, 10 on this, but the odds are just insane. Of this happening. And I don't even remember the fight. It was just the odds of this guy knocking the other guy out was not going to happen. He's going to normally submit him, right, or the opposite. And I was like, well, let me take a shot because it's costing me barely nothing, and I can win a lot. That's what I've done. And then you get into, I think everybody does these, the Super Bowl squares, right?
Okay.
That's a different type, right? That's that old school, which
Does
does
that qualify as gambling?
You're putting money on games to win money.
Okay.
So you're giving money, and everyone else is, and the winner gets a chunk of that money. So
And real quick, I will say this just as a to kind of chop this up a little bit. I've always categorized like the Super Bowl squares and fantasy sports as something different. I never associated that with gambling. That was more I guess that was just more sports fun that just had money at stake.
I understand.
Okay.
I think I equivalent to gambling.
Okay.
I mean,
if you want to, that's fair.
Because if you don't win, you lose that money that you put in.
Fair enough.
You know?
That makes sense.
So back in the day, again, I like to go back to when a kid. So my family, at the time, my grandfather, father, they like NASCAR. That was my first introduction
to gambling?
To being a part of the Super Bowl squares.
Yeah.
But it was NASCAR, the drivers, and you got
Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, so even though I wasn't putting my money on it, they were putting my name, and then I would get the winnings as a kid.
Awesome. Look at that.
So it was pretty cool, pretty fun, made me care about racing. Maybe I should go back to that. But also, I also remember, my father doing the parlay cards. The old school fill out it was like blue or whatever, and like parlay, it's just like checking off games and and that was, so that was like the revolution of how far that I know of gambling. More recent, ESPN. I'll look at bets and I know some guys who do gamble a lot and do these sports bets, and they're pretty good at it. And then somehow I ended up being their WNBA expert. And I tried to say, I really don't know that much, but I know enough that I can give you some advice.
Okay, so the one thing I'm going to say is you said that those guys are really good at betting. That's because they're telling you about all their wins and not their losses. That's the first thing.
Well, I think they have a problem when they're betting on WNBA.
Exactly. There you go. And that was actually my second point. It's when they're betting on sports. These guys are coming to you to get information on sports that they don't have enough knowledge on, so that they can place their bets. I think that is. I think they have a problem. Yeah, and there's like a 1-800 gambling number that they can call and get some assistance.
And that's a small shout out. He knows. He knows when it's time to stop.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, it should be. So, and we're gonna flip sides here. We're gonna go to the other side of sports gambling, which is the issues and the problems that can, surround it. So with sports betting being so rampant, with you having the ability to do it easily, anyone with a phone and a bank account, they can gamble on their phone and place a bet. So we've run into several issues of current professional athletes who've got caught up in some gambling scandals. But I think historically, just kind of I want to say on the Mount Rushmore has to be someone like Pete Rose, who was a notorious gambler, who placed lots of bets on baseball while he was an active player. For decades, he wasn't even allowed into the Hall of Fame. I don't even think they would allow him in the building. He would have to sit outside the building. And it was just kind of the disgraced, gambler. He was written off by a lot of people. And I think he was kind of able to kind of salvage his reputation a little bit. But his one thing was claim to fame was that he never bet on himself to lose. He would only bet on himself to win. But it's still a conflict of interest. Are there any more historically that just kind of come to mind for you?
So before Pete Rose, you got the Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Shoeless Joe Jackson was a good one,
and the entire 1919 series. Yeah. That's one of the famous ones, right?
Yes.
Along with Pete Rose, and then Tim Donaghy.
Tim Donaghy, yes. NBA disgraced NBA referee. Yes. Yeah, he. I think he ended up doing some prison time for some of the convictions that he had involved with betting on games that he was a referee in. Like, wow. I mean, that's crazy conflict of interest. How did he not know any better?
And that's that tricky part of when you watch games. Everyone's human. We got to remember that at the moment. But when I say that in joking of the MLB maybe going to robot umpires. But yeah, the NBA, or any sport, when you got referees, they had to grow up unless they just like sports, but most of them probably had a team, right?
Yeah.
So how do you disconnect your fandom and your job, right? They got to do that. So and of course, I think jokingly people always say this game must be rigged. This game is fixed, and who controls that game more than the officials?
Hey, Kent, do you smell that? Smells like home cooking, right?
Yes, always.
There's always going to be that aspect of things where you can kind of call those types of a bad call into question, or when the Sacramento Kings are set up, to advance, and then all of a sudden the Lakers are getting every single call they need to advance. That's another side of things too.
And then currently, or more recently, right now we have gambling. Right, it's out there.
Gambling's
it's everywhere.
Here. It is here. It's legal in most states.
It's most states, and now it's of course every sport, not just horse racing and boxing.
Correct.
It's everywhere. And so then you've got it's kind of the equivalent to how steroids weren't illegal, but then they were illegal. Yes. So when you got busted after the rule, I gotta say, hey, why were you doing steroids when they said don't do steroids?
Okay.
So now gambling is kind of the same, I guess. Maybe it's a bad example, but gambling is out there everywhere. But players, coaches, referees, they should not be gambling on the sport that they play.
Well, and
is that correct?
No, I want to say there was a rule, like amongst their employment contracts with referees, where like they're not allowed in casinos. Like they literally can't step foot on the grounds of a casino. There's a lot of reasons for that. You don't want to have the optics of the head NFL referee sitting at a blackjack table. It's bad for business. You think, hey, does this dude have a problem where he could just be, rolling the dice, having some fun? But, those are the things that are happening more often now. We've seen it with players, probably, I guess it's fair to say most popular baseball player internationally is Shohei Ohtani. Had a gambling scandal.
Yes.
With
his translator.
His interpreter that would translate English to him was kind of pegged as the reason why money was coming out of Shohei Ohtani's bank accounts and into these different gambling bets, all these different sports books, to the tune of millions of dollars, by the way.
Yeah.
It's miraculous that Shohei Ohtani himself was able to get out unscathed.
He did.
And the interpreter just kind of took the rap for all of it. But, we see it with basketball. Jonte Porter had a betting scandal.
Yeah.
Malik Beasley had some federal investigations under investigation. Terry Rozier.
Yes.
So it's a lot of it where, guys will, potentially, these are accusations. Nothing's been proven yet. But the accusations are that they place bets on things to happen, and then they take the under, meaning he says, hey, this player is supposed to have 17 points in the game, and then all of a sudden he has a hamstring injury in the second quarter when he's got 8.
Right.
They place a big bet on the under, and now they're able to cash it for the tunes of tens of thousands of dollars.
And it's not even them placing the bet. They noticed someone else did it, and they're like, why is this person, and how did they know they put this much money on Terry Rozier?
Yes.
Under?
Not a superstar.
No, so kind of like under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to look at Terry Rozier that he only played, 10 minutes in the game?
Yeah, who cares? And players have a nagging injury.
Yeah.
It happens. Okay, yeah.
But that's a lot of money to put on a random act like that.
Yes,
you
and
just
it's like,
happened to pick that bet.
Yeah, you put $8,000 down, and the next thing you know, you're cashing the check for 6 figures. It's one of those things that, and I will say that it's disheartening to see these players kind of skirting the lines and being involved in these types of talks. However, and I say this to anyone who's listening, if you do these types of things, you're going to get caught.
Yes.
All of these things are, the data is there. They'll be able to see this large bet come in on this player that no one knows or thinks about, and then it just happens to cash. You're going to be caught. It's only a matter of time. And if they don't catch you today, it's only going to be sometime later. And they're going to rope you into a federal investigation that you can't get out of.
Yeah, it's somebody's job
Yes.
That's their job, is to look for this.
Yes.
That's it. It's kind of like when I worked at Amazon, spoiler, and people would get busted for stealing there. It was like, you do know that it's somebody's job
to make sure that you don't come in here and take things that don't
that
belong to
there
you.
are cameras watching you in the break room if you're stealing food. And I don't know why you would want to steal a product from the floor, because there's so many cameras on you, once again, that zoom in so tight.
Yes.
And once again, like, you do know that someone's sole job is to find a thief in here.
I believe it's called loss prevention.
Loss prevention, yeah,
You know?
like anywhere, right? In stores. But when you're in a, like I said, this sport, again, back to the sports, is, again, it is somebody's job now, with all the gambling going on, to catch athletes, coaches, referees, whoever, for doing, some or not unsuspicious, it's suspicious activity.
Yes.
Going on with betting. Couple more names, that got suspended. Jonte Porter's got a lifetime ban at the moment from the NBA.
Yeah.
Brother of Michael Porter Jr., who is the better player, but there again, Jonte now is famous for getting the Pete Rose treatment.
Yeah.
NFL, you saw Calvin Ridley a season, Isaiah Rodgers a season.
Yes.
I think there may be some other lower level players.
Yeah.
But again, but it is, like I said, back to that one thing now. It's so out there. Not that, gambling used to be, like you said, only Vegas, Atlantic City, certain spots.
Yes.
Now it's everywhere.
Everywhere, and
so,
everyone's doing
players, they want to be a part of it too, but they gotta, within their rules of their league that they play in, that's where they have to gamble. But it is funny that there are these punishments, but every other commercial during games and sports is gamble
right here.
But hey, be responsible.
Yeah, be responsible.
It's the same
if you have a problem, call this 1-800 number.
And again, it's so funny when you hear that stuff. It's kind of like, alcohol and drinking. It's, hey,
gamble responsibly.
Hey, drink responsibly, but hey, do it a lot though.
Yes,
but do it responsibly.
Yeah. Drink
gamble,
beer, drink tequila.
Yeah, do all these things, but hey, just make sure you do it responsibly. So it's out there. It's hitting us in the face everywhere we turn, especially in sports now. Like I said, with the gambling, it is huge. It is big, and by the way, I need to get my lottery ticket tonight.
Yeah, well, no, hey, listen,
every night.
Play your lottery. That's cool. If you hit, you know how to reach me. But the one thing I will say, and people, I know this is kind of an out of nowhere topic for us to cover, but I just want to say this because, again, I love sports business, and the one thing that I want people to understand is how big gambling is in America. Last year, it was reported that there were $150 billion placed on sports bets. Okay, so we're talking major money that people were betting throughout the course of 2024. So it's a lot of money at stake, which is why, like you said, they've got people to investigate. They're waiting for people to slip up. They're not going to let people calm the system, because it is kind of easy to game the system when you're a professional athlete and you can place 15 different bets in one game.
Yeah, and again, it's the ease, right? All bad things are it is within your hand.
Yes.
And gambling is one of those bad things that is just a swipe, a click away.
Yes, super easy, and like I said, anyone with a phone and a bank account,
that's it.
You can make it happen. All right, before we close out the show, we like to do something fun, something silly, something wacky. And we had this one kind of in the queue for a while, but I'm going to give Kent, and I'm going to tweak this just a slight bit.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to either erase or change a rule in any sport.
Okay.
What would you go with? Now, the main thing is you want it to improve the sport.
Yes.
Make it a better viewing experience. Make it better for teams. And I trust you to make this decision. I'm entrusting you to make this decision. What do you got?
Yeah, so in the NFL, I mean, it's the biggest sport. All eyeballs are on it. I think games are sometimes decided upon these calls, right? Officiating, right? And, and I get that now doing my own officiating at a lower level. But one of the rules about, I think just to add to a rule is, the challenge, right? During an NFL game, we know coaches, they get 2 challenges. They can't within under 2 minutes. And then, of course, if they lose one of those challenges, then they still have the other one. If they are successful on both challenges, they get
a third,
an additional. Mm-hmm. All those rules stay the same.
Okay.
But as we know in NFL, everything is not challengeable, right?
Correct.
You cannot challenge every call. You cannot challenge certain plays. I'm introducing the wild card challenge flag that you get to use once a game, any point in the game.
Okay.
Any point in the game, any call. And like we talked about, I think, before, it was not on a call. It could be a missed call.
Got it.
Like I said, your guy's running. You're driving to win the game anytime in the game, really. But probably coaches are going to use these in those game-winning situations.
Got it.
Right?
So let's say it's fourth quarter.
Yep.
Your team is down by 3. They're in full field goal range, and there is a missed holding call, and the refs just flat out miss it. It's as clear as day to you. They see it, they whiff, and because it's a non-call, you have no ability to challenge it. You're saying that this wild card flag gives you an opportunity to throw this flag, have them review the call that they missed, and then actually call the penalty in which it occurred.
That is correct.
Wow.
So missed face mask, missed pass interference, whatever.
Holding, tripping.
Anything.
Got it. Horse collar, missed call. It gives you
or
an actual call
or an
that
actually
was just a bad call.
Like you see, you see sometimes they call unnecessary roughness on the quarterback.
Got it.
And somebody barely their finger touched, the top of their head.
Got it.
And they call roughing the passer.
But
definitely anything that and I said anything that's not challengeable now, you can challenge it.
So you want it's a
wild card, man.
It's Thanos.
Yes.
Well, you can just snap your fingers and have something created, have a call created as it happened right in front of you. I love that.
Or
that's awesome.
What is it? If they blow the whistle and they call the guy down, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good one.
You should be able to challenge and say, no, he wasn't down.
This is wrong. Yeah. You guys whiffed on this one. Okay.
Yep.
All right. No, that's great, man. No, that's a good one. Mine's probably going to be a little more complicated, but mine is a rule change, but I'm going to leave the rules the same. I'm going to leave the rule itself the same. What I'm going to do is change what the penalty for this call is, and I'm going to try to fix flopping. In the NBA.
Nice.
Okay?
I like it.
So anybody listening, flopping in the NBA is when a player exaggerates contact to try to draw a foul call on whoever their defender is. So, there's guys, they get bumped and they yank their head back as if they got,
James Harden.
Yeah, like they got hit with a bowling ball.
LeBron James.
You keep going all day. Floppers are floppers. But so what I'd like to do is right now, currently in the NBA, there is penalties for flopping.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
It's a fine system. Mm-hmm. And what happens is after flopping accusations are made, the referees and the league review them, and then they issue fines to players. I will say that in the last 2 years, it used to be like a report. I don't hear about players being fined for flopping anymore. It's as if it totally disappeared. Mm-hmm. What I would like is not only the enforcement of these rules, but I want them stiffer. And I want, let's just call it the habitual line steppers, that they're not only do their fines escalate, but it moves into suspensions. Ooh. So you get 3. You get 3 calls where it's fine, and the money goes up in whatever increment that they choose. But on that 4th one, you get suspended for a game.
Okay.
That 5th one, you get suspended for 2 games, et cetera, et cetera. It is such a detriment to the game of basketball to the point where now live at these games, I don't know the last time you've been to a game where a player flops. Everyone in the stadium is aware of it and goes, "Oh my God, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That wasn't. He's flopping. How did you call that? How did you fall for that?" And if you could see it from the 300 section, the refs on the floor should be able to see it, and they miss it all the time. So I understand that they tried to kind of get this out of the game, but I just want to see them bring down the hammer on it and hold these guys accountable. And then what will happen is, naturally, I think they'll want to stop because they won't, they don't want to, be suspended and eventually hurt their team. But now they realize that, like James Harden, and you mentioned James Harden and LeBron James, they have a reputation for flopping, and it never stops them. Nope. They continue to do it. It doesn't change their behavior whatsoever because there are no consequences. So for me, that's a rule that I would change, and I think it'd be great to kind of see that in the league.
I think you could take that further and maybe they get a technical when they flop.
Could be and
then all that leads, you get so many technicals. Obviously, either you could get thrown out of that game.
That's a good variation.
If you get another one, or enough technicals, you get suspended. So it all leads to the same thing.
Yeah, but
it's kind of the equivalent.
Stricter penalties.
Yeah, and it's kind of the equivalent, like NFL players faking injuries. Because again, ultimately, you're faking an action, and everybody wants calls in the NBA. Like you try to get the calls, you yell, but it's the over dramatic.
Yeah.
That you barely got touched, and all of a sudden you're in the fifth row.
Yeah. It's the
and the hands
of the
and the
back and the hands
all that.
going back, and
that's just that makes basketball hard to watch.
Yeah, my absolute favorite flopping, and it's not categorized as traditional flopping, but it is I'm going to hold my eye for 5 minutes
on the ground
during this commercial break on the ground and roll around in agony, and then you see the replay and you see that there's zero contact. So this guy is a complete liar.
There's nothing but air and opportunity between the so-called contact.
Never happened. But meanwhile, this guy's on the floor holding his face. It needs to stop. Terrible for the game, and I wish I had the power, man.
There is definitely a difference between selling and flopping.
Absolutely. Yeah, certainly is. Ladies and gents, that is another episode of Fanatically Speaking. Thank you all for listening to the podcast. I am the Log Off Legend, hater of social media. I am the co-host and producer of the show.
I am Kent. I am the co-host and promoter of the show.
We want to thank you guys again for listening in. I am not on social media, but I know you all are. So I would like for you all to go to our Facebook page. I'd like for you all to go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Find us, Fanatically Speaking. Look us up. And actually what we're going to start doing is we're going to have some more fan engagement type activities on our social media, primarily on our Facebook page. Please keep an eye out on our Facebook page, and we're going to do some fan suggestions. And what we're going to have you guys do is submit your topics to us in the comment section. And then what we'll do is we'll take those comments, we'll put them on a poll, and we'll have people vote. So you can pass it off, have people vote for your topic. Your topic is the top picks. It will make it to the show. And the people who get the topics on, maybe we'll send them a little something, send them a little prize, for being a contributor to what we're doing here. So that'll be on our Facebook page, but follow us anywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You guys know the platforms. Find us on there and make sure to engage with us and let us know what you think and let us know what's on your mind.
Yeah, and again, we always say like, follow, share, subscribe, download.
Please.
Listen, and, we thank you all for listening so far, and just let's keep it up.
Yes. How do you feel? You good?
Feel great.
We're good. That's good. Let's kill it.